Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boomer Pod podcast, where we interview movie and TV celebrities that are part of the baby boomer generation. Our guest today is another renowned stunt actor, coordinator, and actress, Miss Sandy Gimpel. Welcome, Sandy, and thank you for being with us today on the Boomer Pod.
Thank you for having me.
You know, when most people are at the age that they're looking for a comfortable chair and a firm bed, myself included, you're still working and doing dangerous stunts. What motivates you?
I want to stay young, and I think, working all the time, not retiring, keeps you young. And I love what I do. So
You can't beat that.
no.
Can't beat that. Let's go back to the beginning. How did it all start?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was a dancer, and I got in the business by dancing. I went on an audition. I was dancing at Pacific Ocean Park, which was a theme park here in California, at the ocean. And they were looking for 6 couples, Jack and Jill, to bring people into the park and Westinghouse and show the Westinghouse appliances, the refrigerators and washer and dryers and all that. So I got that job and went on an audition. While I was doing that, working for Westinghouse, I had gone on an audition for West Side Story, and I got picked as a jet, and Westinghouse would not let me out of my contract. So I finished my contract with Westinghouse for 3 years and went on another audition for The Pleasure of His Company with Fred Astaire and Debbie Reynolds, got that job and got in the business as a dancer, and just, kept on dancing. I was lucky enough to get a show called Clam Bake with Elvis Presley. And for some reason, he liked me, and I ended up doing 15 or 16 movies with him as his main dancer. And then when he retired from working on movies and just going to do live shows, I was already in the business and got a call to stand in for Bill Mumy on Lost in Space. He was 11 years old. And the stunt coordinator asked me if I wanted to do the stunts on the show also. And he said he trained me, and I never looked back.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Tell me, Sandy, what are the differences between a second unit director and a stunt coordinator?
Well, a stunt coordinator, which I have done both of these, let me tell you, a stunt coordinator works basically on the show and has a hand in hiring the stunt people to do the stunts. And the director tells you what you want, what he wants, and you put it together and you show it to the director, and he says okay or nay and fixes things, and we go on from there. A second unit director actually has a whole unit, and you have a list of the shots that the director wants, and you go out with your own cameraman and your own crew, and you shoot them. Anyway, that's basically the difference between the two.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. As a stunt coordinator, you hired one of our previous guests on Boomer Pod, stunt actor and author, Carl Ciarfalio.
Oh my God, of course I have.
What can you tell us about that working relationship?
I absolutely love Carl Ciarfalio. He's one of the nicest, greatest people I have ever met in my life. And he is a great stuntman. I mean, you can depend on him to do whatever you ask. And if he can't do it, he'll tell you why, and work it out for that way. But I have I've hired him a lot. In fact, when we were doing Hannah Montana, or the Dunderheads, which the name was changed, a movie that I was coordinating, and I hired him to. What I put him through, I can't even tell you. He may have told you already. I mean, I hit him with the car. I drove all through Las Vegas with him on the hood of the car. I buried him. I beat him up. I ran the car through a wedding where he was on the hood of the car and goes flying off. I mean, it's a wonder he still talks to me.
That's great. That's great. You know, I'm quite sure that my baby boomer audience are fans of movies such as The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, Con Air starring Nicolas Cage and John Malkovich, Escape from New York featuring Kurt Russell, and The Rock with the great Sean Connery. What stands out in your memory about these productions as far as what you had to do and what your relationship was with these individual actors? Let's start with The Truman Show and Jim Carrey.
Oh my God. Well, that's a funny story. We were doing The Truman Show, and I'm playing the part of the lady that walks across the street, and he almost hits me with the car because he's fiddling with the radio and trying to figure out what's going on. And so the stunt coordinator and myself worked out the car so that he could get really close to me and not hit me, and as I walked across the street. So we get to the shot, and they come to me and say, well, Jim Carrey wants to drive the car. And no matter what the stunt coordinator said, who was doubling Jim Carrey, they wouldn't listen. Jim wanted to drive the car. I said, okay, fine. He can drive the car if I can talk to him. So I start walking over to talk to him. And he's got this big Israeli stunt guard with him. He's not a stunt man. He's a personal assistant. And comes up in front of me between where Jim Carrey is and myself, and stands there with his arms crossed looking at me. Now, this man is huge and built like a you-know-what, which I'm not going to say. And I said, excuse me, I want to go talk to Jim Carrey. And first of all, I'm 5 feet tall, and he's probably 6'5". And he goes, no, nobody talks to Jim Carrey. You can't go near him. I said, oh, really? Well, let me tell you something. Then you go tell him he's not driving the car. Huh. And they just looked at me like, you've got to be kidding. I said, sorry, guys. And so he went over to Jim and told Jim, what was going on. And he came over to me and he said, start talking. We worked it out so that he could drive the car. And he was supposed to drive the car and stop. I had a mark for him to stop the car. And I was perfectly safe. I knew that. And where the camera was placed, it looked really close, but it wasn't that bad. So we get in the car, he gets in the car and we do the stunt. Well, he goes past the mark and literally turns the car, drives up on the sidewalk, gets out of the car and I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did that. I said, it's okay, it's okay. And so we did it again. It was perfect. Cut to, God, he was playing Bruce Almighty. Is that correct? We were doing it at Universal Studios. Now, I have not seen this man for several years since we had done that on location in Florida. We're in the back lot of Universal. There's tons of stunt people, and it's late. And the assistant director gets on the megaphone and says, okay, Jim Carrey's coming in this set. We don't want any more talking. Nobody bother him. Nobody look at him. Just don't pay attention to him. Fine, whatever. So here he comes, walking down, he had to go between all of us to get to his spot where he was shooting and where we were, right? And he's walking by, he goes, oh, hi, Sandy, how are you? And everybody was like, oh my God, what just happened? So it was pretty cool. And I actually got to work with him again when we did the Jimmy Kimmel show, which was just last year. And he hands me a bird scooter. He drives it around Jimmy Kimmel and he hands me the bird scooter, and I'm supposed to be a lady in the audience. And he said, anybody can drive these things. These are really easy. So he said, you come up here. You know, it was all set up, of course. And I go, me? You really want me? And he, yeah, so I knew he gets me the bird scooter and he said, go ahead. So I tried pretending like I can't ride this thing. And then I start riding it and I ride around Jimmy Kimmel and out the doors and onto the street and get hit by a bus. And then they're inside. Oh my God, and all this stuff. We had shot the outside stuff earlier in the day, with the near miss, with the plates shots, with the bus coming by and me in the street and then putting it together. So it worked out pretty cool. So it was pretty fun working with him again.
That's great. That's great. Now, how about one of my favorite movies with Nicolas Cage and John Malkovich, Con Air? What do you remember about that?
Oh my gosh. Con Air. I don't remember too much about Con Air. I do remember working with them on adaptation, which I had a big part on, actually. I'm trying to think. I can't think of what I did.
Tell us what you remember about the other movie.
Well, adaptation, I believe Nicolas Cage played John Malkovich was, how do I explain this? It was the story about a guy that grows orchids, and I played his wife.
Okay.
I'm playing his wife, and basically there was a whole scene that we shot that it wasn't even in the picture, because we shot so much stuff that when he's supposed to be very young and he's a little boy, so they have the little boy talking to me and the mom and all of this, and the problem is that they didn't really need it in the picture, so they didn't use it. But they did use, when we're backing out of the driveway and I'm sitting in the back seat and he's driving the car, and we're backing up out of the driveway, and this gardening truck comes and hits us, and the car goes spinning around and I actually go flying out the back window. But of course it was all set up with the dummies going out the back window, me getting hit, flying back and forth with the fake glass blowing at me and all of that. So that was an incredible shot. Incredible.
And who was the female actress in that movie? Do you remember?
Was that Meryl Streep?
Yes, it was. Meryl Streep.
Yes.
Did you get to work with her at all, or did you just watch?
Actually just watch most of the time. The scene that was cut out when the little girl, supposedly the little girl's sister is sick, was her daughter in the show. And it was a shame because she, like I said, it never reached the final cut.
Okay. How about Escape from New York with Kurt Russell?
I worked on that entire picture and I think I did one stunt on it, but they wanted me on the set just in case they needed me. They just felt it was much safer to have me there all the time. And a lot of the shots, I'm doubling, oh God, don't do this. I've a senior moment here. Andrea Markovici. And a lot of the shots, you'll see she's walking away from camera and stuff like that. And that's actually me. It's the back of my head. The stunt I did do is at the end of the picture when the car drives at her and hits her and she dies. So that shot is actually me doing the stunt. But so many of the other stuff in there, I just really was there as protection, and did, like I said, a lot of the shots of her walking away and stuff like that, because we did so much night work. It was so hard, but it was a fun shoot. It really was. And she was great to work with.
And how about Sean Connery in The Rock?
Oh God, you're hitting on all these things that have you so much fun. Okay, we're shooting The Rock in San Francisco. And I was supposed to be doubling this old lady walking across the street when there's a big car chase. And so we're there, and kind of behind schedule. And I never really did the shot that day. But when we broke, Sean's working, everybody's working, and we break for lunch, we're all outside. They've got tents built for lunch and stuff. And here we go to lunch, and they always let, the big actors go first. And it was cold up there, and I wanted to go get my jacket. And so I was kind of late going to lunch. So I got my lunch, and I'm walking into the tent, and I'm looking around, and there's like nowhere to sit. Sean Connery literally stands up, waving at me to come sit next to him, which was like, really? Okay. So that was really cool. That was really cool. So we had a lot of fun on that show. It was fun. I actually went back 2 weeks later and did the stunt and did the old lady. I mean, they didn't call her back to shoot because she never did shoot. So they just released her and figured they needed me anyway. So they dressed me up with the makeup and hair and all that stuff and made me look old and whatever. But it worked perfect.
Now tell me, is Sean ever the gentleman as he is supposed to be?
Oh my gosh. Come on, who stands up and tells me come sit next to him? There's an empty seat there. He's, an absolute delight. I mean, total gentleman and soft-spoken and nice. I can't say enough nice things about him, for sure.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. What can you share about your heritage and your family?
Well, it's interesting. My dad was a gymnast. We used to go out to Muscle Beach, which was out in Venice Beach in California here. And Daddy would work out on the rings, and he could do an iron cross and do all that kind of stuff. And Mom, took care of the house and the kids and my sister and I, and just, normal life where, you were brought up with respect, and you never talked back to your parents. You said yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And you came home when you were supposed to come home, and you did, Daddy would sit and do my homework with me. And my sister was great. She made straight A's. I made C's. School was not my thing. But, and she actually ended up being a teacher. But anyway, and Mom had me in dance classes and my sister to keep us out of trouble, basically. And it ended up, being part of my life and my career. But they were not in show business. They were just normal people.
And what is your heritage? What nationality?
American, Jewish.
Jewish, but what are their roots? Where are they from?
Daddy was born in Canada. My grandfather, my mom's dad, was born in England, was from England. My dad's parents are from Russia. Mom was born in Detroit. So basically that's all I know about them, really.
Yeah. And don't you have a daughter?
Yeah, I have a daughter for sure. She's
Tell me about her.
She graduated from SC. She sells real estate here in California, in the Valley and Beverly Hills. She's with Core Real Estate in Beverly Hills. She still has my ex-husband's last name, Kathy Hiddleman. But she's great. I love her dearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has
she ever expressed concern about your dangerous job?
It's interesting. She actually works in the business a little bit. She does some background work and stuff. She did Superstore, She was one of the regulars on the show Superstore. But when I was doing Poseidon Adventure at 20th Century Fox, they had to turn the boat upside down and flood it with water. And so I don't know how old she was at the time. She was probably 8 or 9, maybe. So I had the lady who was taking care of her bring her to the set so she could watch mommy do a stunt. And she had been on sets before. She was on Lost in Space, and she had seen, and she had actually worked on a couple of Disney shows, so she was used to being on the set. That wasn't the problem. Problem was, this was set up where there was 5 of us on a platform by the doors that blew, the glass elevator where the water first comes in and blows us off the stage. And then the Christmas tree falls and the place was in a tank. So the place floods with water, and we have to swim and around the cameras that are on the floor and get to the other side. And we practiced. It was all set up so we could jump off the platform and everything. The only thing that happened was when the water came in, it literally lifted us up off our feet and blew us across the stage. And we were fighting for our lives to stay up alive out of the water. One of the guys got hit in the head with a piece of balsa wood, which is soft wood, which breaks, cut his head open. He was fine. They, took him to the hospital. But it was way and above what it was supposed to look like. And they, they cut, they shot it, and they cut, and they said, okay, well, we're going to clean everything up. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll do it again. And after that, she kind of didn't want to watch me do stuff anymore.
Yeah. I'll bet.
That one kind of scared her a little bit, I think. But the interesting part was we came back in 2 weeks and we shot it again. It went exactly like it was planned and supposed to be, but it looked nothing like the first one, the first take. And guess what? They used the first take in the show. It just was so real. It looked amazing. So yeah, she kind of, she doesn't really want to know if I'm doing something really dangerous anymore. She just wants to know when I'm home and I'm okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Have you ever thought about retiring, Sandy?
What's that mean?
Okay. That's the answer I was looking for.
No, I'm going to be doing this till I can't do it anymore. And hopefully that won't happen. I love what I do. And, I have to work out in order to do what I do. And I believe in my heart that keeps you young.
Sure.
I think it really does. I think what happens to an awful lot of people, and not you because you're still doing things, but so many people that retire stop doing things. Oh, I'm too old. I can't do this anymore. I can't play golf anymore. Oh my God, tennis is just too hard running, and how many people died within years, a few years of them retiring.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it isn't going to happen.
Mm.
I'm going to go out kicking and fighting.
There you go. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, it's time to promote the book. Tell us about it.
My book. This is my book. Anyway,
Wow,
pretty cool, huh?
that's amazing.
And I had a guy draw me the cartoon of me falling.
Yeah, great.
Stunt lady falling for the stars. If you go to my website, it's just sandragimpel.com. It's on my website. It's literally the story from the beginning of my life through the pictures and everything I've done. And it's interesting because I was, writing a book is so hard. You keep putting it off and you keep going, I'm not going to do that. And everybody's saying, oh, right, because I did Lost in Space and I did Star Trek and I've done so many pictures that people really love. And I do Star Trek conventions all the time. So I finally wrote it and got an editor, just correct the spelling and punctuation. that I'm not good at, and put all my pictures in there. I mean, it's full of pictures. It's just, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see any of this or not, but it's just,
Lots of pictures.
yeah, it's awesome pictures. It's from shows, it's from everything. Um, so I'm selling the book, and you can buy it on my website, and you can either get it autographed or not. There's a little clicky thing place for it that you can click on it and get it that way.
That's amazing. Good for you.
So I'm very proud of it. I'm very
Great.
proud.
Great. And when was it finished?
A month and a half ago.
Okay, so it's new.
It's brand new. Yeah, it's
And how are sales going?
no complaints at all.
Good,
They
good.
work really well, and I'm going to Long Island Friday to do a Star Trek convention, and I've already sent some books ahead, FedEx them ahead so that I can have them there because I sign autographs for pictures and stuff, so I can sell some of my books there too. So it'll be pretty cool. It's gonna be a
Good.
great convention.
Good. Other than the book, can you mention your memorable life's accomplishments?
Oh, yeah, well, I think the most memorable life I can't even talk, accomplishment.
We know what you mean.
Told you, getting old, done good. As a stunt woman, when I started working, men were doubling women. And that eventually got changed where women were doubling women and men were doubling men. That got straightened out. But coordinating, there were very few women that were stunt coordinating, running the shows as stunt people. And I was very blessed to be able to get Kate Colombo at Universal and double Kate Mulgrew and be the stunt coordinator. And I'd already coordinated some independent low budget features and things like that. So I knew what I was doing, and I'd already been in the business for quite a while. This was 1980 and I got in the business in 1961. So 1960. So I'd really been doing a lot already and knew what I knew camera, I knew lighting, I knew all this stuff. And I went into the producer and asked him if I could do this show they were going to shoot. And he hemmed and hawed and carried on. And he said, well, I don't know. I mean, and I said, what's the matter? There was one girl who was coordinating at Fox and got fired, and she sued Fox. And so I said to him, are you afraid you can't fire me if I screw up? And I looked down at his desk and said, well, yeah. And I said, I'll tell you what, if I screw up, you can take me by the ear into your office and I will quit. And he said, all right, let me think about it. And he knew me well enough to know that it would happen if that's what happened. A couple hours later, he called me. He said, you got this stunt coordinating job. Okay, so now I'm coordinating a major television show with Kate Mulgrew at Universal. And we shoot the first episode and a half. And they can't finish. There's too many stunts. I mean, we're getting stuff done, but they've had, between the dialogue and everything else, they can't. So the production manager, Dan Franklin, calls me in his office and he goes, okay, we're going to do a second unit. So I'm going to hire Bob, whatever his name was, to direct second units. And we want you on the set to make sure that everything goes, as planned, because you know how we shoot now, you know the look of the show. Well, Big Mouth Sandy goes, no, I want to direct second unit.
Good for you.
Said, they're not going to let you direct second unit. There's no girls directing second unit. But he didn't say that part of it, but there were no girls directing second unit that were stunt women. And I don't know, we went back and forth, and I finally said to him, look, I'm not coming in the day that he's here. Too bad. I don't care. And it was time to go home anyway. So I left the office, got in my car to go home, and sat there and cried because I figured I blew the stunt coordinating job. I just did exactly what I didn't want to do, was blow the stunt coordinating job. Well, Dan Franklin absolutely adored me. Went to the Black Tower, as it was called, where all the execs were at Universal, and fought for me. Called me on the phone about 8 o'clock that night and said, Black Tower, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, sign your contract, you're directing second unit. And I broke all the glass ceilings.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And I guess I did a good job because I directed second unit on every episode after that.
And how about challenges, especially the challenges that you face at this point in your life?
Well, I used to double kids all the time. Now I'm doubling older ladies or playing the older ladies. They actually last week, CSI Vegas, the episode was called Deadly Memories. I actually played Aunt Joan, who was probably 100 years old. And so it took 3.5 hours of makeup every single morning to get me to look that old, with the wispy little hairs with the bald cap on and the whole thing. But I played a major part in the show. I mean, I ended up, being like a guest star on the show, which was really cool. But I do that a lot now. I did it on Weird Al Yankovic. I played the old lady at the mailbox that Daniel Radcliffe shoves out of the way, and I go flying to the ground.
Amazing.
Yeah, what they do now, they call me and they go, can you still hit the ground? And I go, yeah, but you know what? You might have to help me up. Just kidding. But yeah. So that's the challenges.
When's the last time you actually did a stunt that put your being in any kind of jeopardy?
Well, it's been a while. I'm very good at fixing things to make sure that I'm not in jeopardy. And jeopardy to me is getting killed. You get bruises, you get banged up, you can break something, of course, which I've been very blessed to. Very little have I broken, but I think, oh my gosh, let's see. I did a couple of things I did when I was younger, and thank God I was brought up by stuntmen like Mickey Gilbert, Benny Dobbins. These people were top stunt coordinators at the time, Paul Stater, and they told me, if you have a problem, talk, ask, double check your rigging, make sure you're happy with it, because you're the one on that rig. You're the one, going down to the ground or whatever. So I've been very, very good about that. I did a show called Bring 'Em Back Alive with Bruce Boxleitner years ago. And there was a problem to start with. I was doubling an Asian girl, and we're supposed to hire if it's an Asian, you hire an Asian stunt girl. If it's a person of color, you hire a person of color, so everybody gets a chance to work, because they're doubling the people of their own, and I don't say this word right, and their own, you know what I mean.
I know.
Anyway, but there was no Asian girl in our business at the time that could do this particular stunt. Basically, we were out at Indian Dunes, 100 feet in the air, on the side of a mountain. There was a motorcycle with a sidecar hanging off the cliff, and she is in the motorcycle, in the sidecar. Bruce Boxleitner's double swings over, he's on a rappelling line, swings over, grabs me, we swing back, the bike drops, and explodes. Pretty simple, right? So we get there, and they're going, okay, it's time to work, get up on the rig, and we're going to shoot. I went, no, I want to see how it's rigged. I'm not going to get on that thing until I see how it's rigged. Well, we don't have time, and we hired a professional mountain climber, and it's perfectly fine, so perfectly safe, so don't worry about it. I said, no. Well, if they could have fired me, they probably would have, but it was kind of late already. So they said, fine, we'll shoot something else. Go look at the rig. So I called Gary Epper, who was doubling Bruce, and I said, come on over here. They want us to get up on, they want me on this rig and I want to see it. He said, oh, okay, sure. So the two of us went up, and literally it took 20 minutes to get to the top of the mountain. And the motorcycle and the rappelling line is all tied into this eye hook in the ground. There are no backup ties on anything. So we had enough rappelling line that we were able to tie it around a tree that was close enough. So the rappelling line had a backup tie. The motorcycle was on a trip that would automatically release. They would have the special effects guy release it. So we come back, I get on the rig. They put us in a cherry picker up 100 feet up to the top. Gary gets on the rappelling line. I get in the rig. He swings over and grabs me. Now he should swing straight across like that, right? Well, he swings across like that, grabs me, and we should swing back the same way. Trouble is, we do that. We drop probably 10 to 15 feet as we go across on the way back. The motorcycle drops and explodes. We're leaning on the mountain, and it's shale. It's literally coming off in our hands. So you can't climb down this stupid thing. And all you're thinking is the rappelling line's caught in some weeds up there, and we yell, get us down. And if you look down at the crew, they're all standing there with their mouth open. And this literally had to be seconds. It felt like minutes. And Gary yells, and they finally move. They get us down. They go up to see what happened. Guess what happened? The eye hook came out of the ground.
Amazing.
So if it wasn't for our backup tie, I would not be here. I mean, Gary ended up a few years back not staying with us, but it wasn't because of a stunt. It was because of a medical issue. But yeah. So that's one of the reasons that I always double check my rigging. I mean, if I have to be out there 2 hours early on my own time to take a look and see what's going on, that's what I do.
Good for you. That's wonderful. How about life's disappointments, Sandy?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's too bad I married somebody that I didn't stay with, that I didn't respect. That would have been nice. I think. I don't know. I have been single since 1973, so I'm not quite sure if it would have been better than what I have. I'm not disappointed in life at all, really. I can't give you any examples of that. I love my life. I love what I do. I gotta tell you, if everybody liked what they did as much as I do, I think we'd live in a much better world.
You're a very special person, Sandra.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, you are, really. And I don't give compliments easily.
Thank you. I appreciate
Because I'm an old guy.
Hey, listen,
An old crotchety guy.
I don't want to talk about this. I mean, the problem is you go on IMDb, which is the movie industry website that you can look anybody up. And the stupid thing has my age on there, or my birthday. And I keep trying to get it off and they won't take it off. So most people know how old I am, which is, I guess, okay, but it just sounds old.
Nobody would believe it anyway.
I hope not.
They wouldn't believe it anyway.
I don't believe it.
There you go. There it goes. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Oh my gosh. Not really. I mean, if anybody was really interested, buying my book would be a great way to go, because it literally goes through my life, literally.
Let's see that book again.
It's got all the stories of the shows I've been on.
Is there a name?
It's called, the book is called Stunt Lady,
Okay,
Falling for the Stars, but you can just, like I said, just go to my name and just go to myname.com and you can get it, or you can always go to Amazon and buy it also if you want to.
Amazon too? Okay, good.
Right, but you won't get it autographed. So if you want it autographed personally to you, just go to my website and get it. But you can get it unautographed there too if you wanted it, but that way I know it's going out for sure.
Well, I hope you sell 1 million books.
I hope so too. But
Yeah,
it's fun. I mean, I got to double Debbie Reynolds for years. And Estelle Getty, Barbara Eden. I mean, some amazing actresses that were just amazing to be friends with and to be around.
good, good. Will you join us again in the future to share any updates in your career or any other observations?
I would love to. Thank you.
I'd love to have you back.
Thank
Be
you.
well, my friend. Be well.
Thank you. You
And
too.
aren't you going on a trip here shortly?
I am going to Long Island to the Star Trek convention.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do at those conventions?
I talk, basically, I have a moderator like you do, and I go on stage and they ask questions and I answer the questions and talk about my life and sign autographs. I have lots of pictures that like from Star Trek, being the Salt Vampire and the Telosian, and people, the Star Trek people go crazy over those. And so I signed the pictures and sell them, and now I get to sell my book too.
Well, you're a wonderful person, my friend. And thank you for the beautiful discussions.
No,
Be safe and have good travels.
thank you so much. You too. Be safe. Bye, you guys.